Hi, everybody. Today we're going to have a very exciting topic. Why haven't you considered an EB5 visa?
As we proceed, let's take this precious moment to celebrate and recognize very important leaders in my life. And the first person is our pastor. His name is Pastor Clint Ross. He's our spiritual covering, but is also our mentor. He's our teacher. He's our guide. He prays for us and he also directs us in the things that we should do in life. And we really aspire to do even half of the things that he has been able to accomplish. And in the second picture, you can see my husband, the love of my life. He's also my great supporter. He's also my guide. He also tells me what to do. He gives me direction and the kind of things that we are supposed to do. And it's because of him that you can see the project is progressing step by step. And for these two mighty men, I give God all the glory.
Is it because you tell yourself, I can't even afford it?
According to the USCIS website, the cost just to file the EB5 visa application before you even do anything else is $11,000, $11,160 before you've even been told whether it has been approved, anything, before you take any step, just to put your foot in the door, it's $11,000. And somebody may ask, okay, I don't know whether I can afford this $11,000. But before you just write that off, consider the following. There's so many things that people do to try and get into the country of the US. And one of them is marriage fraud. It's criminal. So for all those who are saying, I'm just going to find someone, get into a fake marriage, and then once I get my green card, everybody parts their own ways. This is what you are risking. You're risking 5 years imprisonment and you're risking $250,000 of a fine. So instead of risking this fine, why don't you just go another route and just see how you can come up with at least $11,000 to $12,000. This is your life you're talking about. You're going to get married to someone you don't even know. You don't know whether they are traffickers. You're going to end up being trafficked. You don't even know whether you're going to end up in an abusive marriage. I've seen people who took that route and they are regretting for the rest of their lives. It's too much of a risk. Like there are some unsafe ways. Like these people, there were 49 people, they were killed, and 140 people were missing after a boat carrying refugees and migrants from the Horn of Africa capsized. It sank, you know. And this is not a long time ago. It's like on the 11th of June, just about 2 or 3 months ago. And what about these people from Haiti? You know, the 40 people were killed after a migrant boat catches fire at sea. So I'm not saying that it's wrong to try and escape the problems that you're facing. And I don't know exactly all the details in some of these cases, but I'm just trying to say that sometimes it's better to think the long term, like what kind of things, rather than just trying to take the shortcut in terms of affordability. Instead of thinking, okay, these things are impossible to afford, why don't you just try to ask yourself a different question? How will I be able to afford it? If someone can show me how to afford it, is it something that I am ready to try? I've seen people who go into the United States illegally, and then now they cannot find papers, they cannot work, they have to just find illegal means of surviving in the United States. That is not the kind of life that that is the American dream. You know, they cannot work. They have to always run away from the authorities. They cannot get medical cover because they cannot get a social security number, and that's not the kind of life. Then they cannot even go back to their country to visit their family or things like that. That's not the kind of life that we aspire to whenever we're trying to come to the United States. So that's just something that I'm asking all of us to think about. In as much as the EB5 visa, just the starting is $11,160. Just consider it. Consider it in a different light, as I said. What if you can be shown a way to make this money? Is it something that you'd consider? Is it something that you would consider? And you find other people, they overstay their visa. They come in as maybe tourists, or they come as foreign exchange students, or they come as just regular students, or they come as in any other capacity. They come with any other visa, but then they overstay their visa. Now they're out of status. Now they risk being deported. If you're caught by the authorities, or just they just have to find a way to change their status from being illegally in the country to being legally in the country. So that is its own ball game, which we're not discussing here. But I just wanted to ask you, like, instead of trying to risk all this at your life, but what if there was a different way that most people are not considering, but it's a possibility for you? Would you go ahead and consider it?
Is it because you tell yourself, do I even qualify? Will I get selected?
Sometimes people even give up before they try because they wonder, will I ever get selected? Maybe you tried the lottery, you have not been picked. Maybe you don't even have anybody who can invite you over for a family based visa, or a school that can invite you over as an exchange student or anything like that. So you just give up on yourself. So I want to show you something. This is the visa bulletin for September 2024. So every month, the US immigration, they send out a bulletin just explaining like how far different visa categories are in processing the people who they are issuing visas to. So to just briefly summarize, so there are family sponsored visas, and then when you go a little bit lower, there are employment-based visas. And then when you go a little bit lower again, you find the diversity visa, which coincidentally for in this particular bulletin for September, they have also actually released the results. So if you played the lottery in 2023, the results are out, so you can check for your country. What the results were. So let us start with the family-based visa. So will I even get selected? So family-based visas, the advantage with them is that they are sure. Like it's not a lottery. It's not a case where you might get it or you might fail to get it. As long as you meet all the criteria, you will get it. The problem is when. So if you look at the categories. So there's F1, F2A, F2B, F3, and F4. For example, this F1 category. So the people that are being processed right now are those whose applications were received in 2017. And now we are in 2024. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 8 years ago, those are the people. And F1, we said they are who? They are unmarried sons and daughters of US citizens. So, US citizens' children, the ones who applied 7 or 8 years ago, are the ones who are being processed right now. F2A is about the spouses and children of green card holders. So, those ones are maybe 2 or 3 months ago, because the cases that were received in 15th of June 2024 are the ones that are currently being processed. Aha. Look at F2B. F2B are unmarried sons and daughters of green card holders. If you're a green card holder and your unmarried son or daughter who is over 21 wants to come to the United States, the people that are being processed right now are the ones who applied 8 years ago. F3. The ones who applied F3 are now the married sons and daughters of US citizens. So the ones who applied in January 2011, I don't know how many years ago that is, a long time ago. F4, now the siblings, the brothers and sisters of a US citizen. So if I have a brother, if I have a sister, the current ones that are being processed are the ones that were applied in March of 2008. That's how many years ago, and we're in 2024, nearly maybe 15 or 16 years ago. The applications that were received 16 years ago are the ones that are being processed at the moment. So just think about that. Bear that in mind as you go ahead. So this is the family base. The advantage is that eventually, whenever you get, when you become first in line, whenever they get to your application, you will get the visa. The problem is that the wait time is very, very long. Now, let us go to the employment-based visa, because that's the other way that you can get an immigration visa to the United States real quick. So we have categories. Let's go right here. So the interesting thing with the employment-based visa, this C over here means current. So if you're in this first category, except the ones who are born in China and India, it's current. So what is the first category? First category for the employment-based visa, EB1, extraordinary abilities. You should get like a Pulitzer, I don't know how to say this, or an Oscar or an Olympic medal. So if you don't have an Olympic medal or a Pulitzer or an Oscar award, yeah, maybe you are not in this category. You must meet at least 3 of the 10 criteria below. And the criteria are down here. So you can go through these 10 criteria. See, if you qualify for any 3 of them, then it's automatic. It even says here, no offer of employment or labor certification is required. As long as you are you have extraordinary ability, you will get a green card. That's the first category. It's current. As long as you're in this category, you apply for a green card, you get a green card. The second category are those people, they applied about a year and a half ago. If yours was applied a year and a half ago, now is when your application is being processed to get a green card. And we see that these are, let's see, EB2, the second preference. And I'm getting this information from the USCIS website. So you need to have an advanced degree. You need to have documentation such as official academic records showing that you have an advanced degree, foreign equivalent, and all those kind of things, you know. And you must also meet 3 of the 10 criteria that are below, you know. So let's go down here. Okay, I'm not going to go through the criteria, but the criteria is right there. So you need labor certification and ability to pay. So yeah, this one you need to be you need to get a labor certification and many other things, which I'm not going to go through them. So if you would like to consider and see whether you fall under the EB2 category, you can also look at that. Yeah. But what I wanted to say is that if the people in this category, they have about a 1 year wait, 1.5 years wait. The third category, the people who applied it in the year 2020 are the ones who are getting processed right now. So they have a 4-year wait. And EB3 category, just for those who might be wondering what they are professionals, skilled workers, professionals, and other kind of workers. So there you go. You can also look at that in the USCIS website. I'm not going to go through it, but maybe doctors, lawyers, all those kind of like professionals in their field, accountants, all that kind of stuff. But you also need a labor certification, and a permanent full-time job offer is also required for you to get this visa. And bear in mind that the ones who applied 4 years ago are the ones who are currently being processed. All right. Then there are other workers. Then we have now a fourth preference. This fourth preference, they are the ones who applied in January of 2021. So these ones also have about a 4-year wait time. And if you want to know what they are, EB4, you just go right there back to the immigration USCIS website, and it will tell you people like religious workers, certain broadcasters, certain physicians. So you can see yourself if you are one of these people, and then of course you look at what is required, and then you'll be able to apply. But just know that these people who are in EB4 have also approximately a 4-year wait. But look at EB5. EB5 is current. It has EB5, including CT5, RT5. I guess these are subsets of it. EB5, if you want to work in rural areas, there's a 20% of visas that have been set aside for them. EB5, if you want to work in high employment areas, there's 10% of visas set aside for you. EB5, if you want to work in infrastructure, there's 2% of green cards that have been set aside for you. So you can see that it's current. So as long as you meet all the criteria, the qualifications that are required, guess what? You get your visa. So don't fret and don't wonder like, oh my goodness, so what's going to happen to me? As long as you meet the requirements, you present your papers, you get your visa. All right. So you can just consider that. Consider someone who is waiting 10 years, someone who is waiting for 8 years. There's people who is waiting for 20 years in the family-based visa. Look at people born in the Philippines. Applications that were filed in the year 2006, and now we are in 2024, are the ones uh, that are being processed. So kind of think about that. So if you don't fall in any of these categories, sometimes it doesn't even matter what is the wait time in the category, because you don't even fall in any category. Why don't you? This is like a challenge and also an invitation. I'm inviting you, consider the EB5 visa. You might be saying, I don't even know, I'm not an investor, I don't know anything about it. That's why I'm telling you, consider, start digging more deeper. What does it entail? How would I be able to benefit? And as I said before, also about the diversity visa. Diversity visa is just a game of chance. So, for example, if you come from a country like Botswana, and in Botswana, 200,000 people applied, but this year they're only issuing 7, what are the odds that you will be one of those 7? You know? So just think about it. Like, if you are serious and you are looking for a way, it might not be the shortest way. It might not be the the way that most people consider, but it is a way that you can be able to make your way to the United States of America.
Is it because you tell yourself, who will sponsor me?
So in case you're asking yourself, okay, who's going to sponsor me? Okay, because I don't have a brother, I don't have a sister abroad, I don't have any relative abroad, I don't know anybody. I tried to apply to a school for scholarship, nobody took me. So who is going to sponsor me? So with this visa particular program, okay, the important things, the prerequisites are here. So the first things that you must make the necessary investment in a commercial enterprise in the United States. That's number one. And then number two is that plan to create or preserve 10 permanent full-time jobs for qualified US workers. That's it. So once you commit to make this necessary investment, that's why it's the investor's visa. And then your investment should at least create 10 jobs, or preserve 10 jobs. So that's it. So, and then now, how to apply. This is where the beauty of it is. So you can either you can apply as a standalone investor or a regional center investor, which means you can sponsor yourself. If you have the money, you can fill out the form and take it there and show your documents, and you will be given your visa. Or maybe you have already identified a project, a regional center that is already doing a certain project, and then you can go through them also for them to to petition for you. So that's it. So that's the big thing about it. You can petition for yourself, or you can have a regional center petition for you. Now let's go back a little bit. What I wanted to show you is that so for the rest you can read it for yourself. The big thing that I wanted to show you was here. There's a point here called vacated rule, modernizing the EB5 immigrant investor program. So of course, just like anything, all the programs, sometimes they go and modifications, they become modernized. So I wanted to pinpoint this vacated rule, because this vacated rule, under the vacated rule, published by the Homeland Security, several changes to the EB5 Immigrant Investor Program went into effect in November 21, 2019. They are no longer in effect. So one of those things was okay, providing a priority date and all those things. But I wanted to show you about the second one, increasing the required minimum investment amount to account for inflation. So, and if you want to know what that amount was increased to, it's down here. So the standard minimum investment has increased to 1.8 million from 1 million to account for inflation. So previously, before 2019, you could invest 1 million. You could invest between 500,000 and 1 million, because there's an area where you can you could get 500,000 and you're accepted, but in most of the areas it was 1 million and you're accepted. But that new regulation was increasing this minimum investment from 900,000, so in between 900,000 to 1.8 million dollars. So, but as you can see here, the rule was vacated in June of 2021. But the thing is, we don't know for how long it's going to be vacated. Anytime they can restart it. So as of right now, they're still going by the old figures, which was 1 million or 500,000 if you're going in these particular areas. All right. So, but as I said, we don't know when. Anytime the rules can be reinstated, and it's going to cost 1.8 million in the regular areas and 900,000 in these specialized areas. And that is why if you see throughout this video, I am talking about $2 million to just account for that. So in reality, if by the time you have raised your $1 million and the rule has not been reinstated, you can as well submit your paperwork and you get your visa. But if by that time the rule will have been reinstated, then you'll have to bump it up to $2 million.
Is it because you tell yourself, or will I get $2 million?
The $1 million question. Where am I going to get $2 million, let alone even 1 million? $2 million. It reminds me of the time when I was having a conversation with a financial planner. And for the first time, when that planner mentioned the term $1 million and my name in the same sentence, I couldn't believe it. I was going to faint, by the way. I was passing out because I could just feel my mouth going dry. I could just feel my brain freezing and things like that. Because I wasn't like me. $1 million, please. Like, what? So maybe you're also in the same category. Maybe you're like, $2 million. I think let me just get out of here, because I don't think it's me they're talking about. Like, I can't fall in that category. So it's way out of my league. Those kind of things that people tell themselves. But this is what I want to tell you. I want to give you that permission. Maybe nobody else has ever told you that you can actually associate yourself, like your name and who you are, your personality, with millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. And maybe you just need that nudge of someone to just tell you, why don't you think about it? You can make $1 million, and then you can make a second $1 million. And then you can use those funds to better your life, the life of your future generations to come. I mean, yeah, Think about this. You know, there was some time back before the Wright brothers. They said that humans can't fly. But guess what? Nowadays they're flying, they're even going to the moon. What else did they say? They said something like Earth is flat. Can you remember that vibe? And even when you try to come up with your own different opinion, you're executed. Because how can you say the Earth is not flat and we can all see it is flat? Nowadays, everybody knows what the shape of the Earth is. You know, it's a no-brainer. They said, okay, now they are saying that at Mars, you can't live in Mars. It's impossible to live in Mars. There's no oxygen, there's no water, H2, all those things. But guess what? There's someone called Elon Musk, and he's working on a way of people to live in Mars. So who knows? Maybe in the next 50 years, 100, it will be being said that once upon a time they said that you can't live in Mars, but look now, they've created a way of generating water, generating, I don't know, whatever is needed to live in Mars, those kind of things. And this is the same thing that I want to challenge you with. Maybe other people said you cannot amount to anything, or what good can come out of you. You never finish school. Like, look at the family background you come from. You always get bad breaks in life, all those things. This is me telling you, it's possible. You can beat the odds. You can beat the odds, and you can be able to create those $2 million. All you have to do is to be shown how, because other people have done it and other people are doing it as we speak. We're not saying that you wake up tomorrow morning with $2 million in your account. It's a process, but you have to stick with the process. You have to accept to learn. You have to accept to take the steps. The first one, the second one, maybe the first time you only earn $500, it grows to $5,000, it becomes $50,000, $100,000, and you see yourself. It could take months, it could take years, it could take a decade. And then there you are. You have the money and you have everything it takes to apply for your EB5 visa process, and you're on your way. And by the way, if you start earning those $2 million and then in the process you decide you don't want the EB5 visa after all, where is the problem? The millions of dollars are already yours. If you start the process and then you say, okay, this EB5 visa, let me hand it over to my son or to whoever it is to carry over with it, where is the problem? There's no problem. There's nothing to lose by starting the process. So this is just me challenging you. Take that challenge. Go with the process, Buy these properties, it's the process I'm telling. Maybe some people think it's selling Bitcoin or whatever. No, if you go through my channel, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a tax lien process. Like, you buy properties in the United States at very discounted rates. Very discounted. I know my friend who bought one for $300, and even if he sells it even at $5,000 and repeats the process, where is the problem? Me, I bought mine at $500, and that property right now is valued at like $12,000. Now, if I decide to sell it, I will not sell it because I want to develop it. Because if you develop it now, you can even sell that house at $200,000, $300,000, depending on how you developed it. Where is the problem? So this is my challenge to you. Don't say it's impossible. Don't start by writing yourself off. Take time to study. At least give it a chance. Even if you buy one property and it ends up making you, okay, fine, 500,000, where's the problem? So that's my challenge to you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, it's not impossible to consider the EB5 visa. Try it!